welcome to an old steamship in poor mechanical condition. Part 4. After some time in the acid bath, the condenser looks much better after polishing. I fit the steam unions and the brass mountings. I also fit a radio control regulator and lag the steam pipes with string as usual. After silver soldering the condenser end plates and bush, it looked a bit of a mess, so I put it overnight in my pickle bath. I used something called Kilrock K, which is a kettle descaler. It's not as powerful as sulfuric acid, but it does the trick. And after a quick polish on my polishing spindle wheel, I'm finishing it off with some Brasso. In this clip I'm using an old t-shirt or part of an old t-shirt to just finish off the polishing process. Time now to put the fittings in place. 2 fittings are required, an inlet and an outlet. One of them is the condensate drain and the other one is the exhaust inlet from the engine. I now need to make a couple of mounting brackets. The bracket with the large hole in, as well as the central hole, is to clear the condensate outlet fitting like this. A viewer wrote in and asked me, why did I not use brass tube for a boiler barrel or a pressure vessel? And as far as I'm aware, the reason for this is that brass is unsuitable for high pressure and high temperatures. This problem does not seem to occur with small steam toys, because they run at a much lower pressure and a much lower temperature. On screen at the moment is an adapter that I made. It's a 3/8 by 32 to 5/16 by 32, because originally I made the bush 5/16 by 32. And the reason for this is I forgot that it uses quarter piping on the chimney and from the exhaust of the engine, so we'll also have to make an adapter for the exhaust inlet. Now I was going to put this on the centre line, but it's looking increasingly more like it needs to be at one side of the boiler, and I'd like to thank the gentleman who took the time to write in and suggest that I use 2 tanks, one either side of the boiler. But I'm a little bit concerned about the weight, so what I'm going to do is counterbalance the condenser with the hand pump that may be the next size up from this, and the steam tap and the associated plumbing. Over now to the propeller shaft. I gave it another coat of paint so it's really blathered in paint, and when this had dried I fitted it into the boat. And here it is. The block is held in place with 4 brass screws and the whole assembly is very secure, so it's getting near to the time to bolt the engine in place. But before that I'm going to put the entire boat in my bath to make sure there are no leaks. Where's the regulator going to be fitted? Because I did a straight through piping job just with the displacement lubricator, as you can see here. So what I now have to do is modify the T-piece to allow a regulator to fit in the space. And because the superheater outlet is on a flexible piece of copper pipe, I can move this slightly if I need to accommodate the regulator. So firstly, it's time to look at the regulator. This is a slide valve regulator, and I used to sell these via my website. It's very important to get these the right way round. The steam inlet is at the top and the steam outlet is at the bottom, and the reason for this is entirely logical. The disc valve, which is the part that's moved by the arm, needs to be firmly pressed against the port face by the pressure of the steam or compressed air. To help this along, it's fitted with a small spring to start with, but some people pipe it up the wrong way round. I'm going to have to modify this for my application. The inlet and outlet are on a 1/4 inch by 40 threads per inch union. For the installation within this steam plant, both ends need to be 5/16 by 32, because both the outlet from the superheater and the inlet to the steam engine are 5/16 by 32. I also need to re-thread all the way down on these inlets and outlets on the regulator, so I'm just using a 1/4 by 40 tailstock die holder, and after a while they look like this. I didn't actually do the whole job by hand. I put it in the vise and used my tailstock die holder to cut the thread all the way down, and then some application of Loctite 542 and a quick tighten with my adjustable spanner, which does not round the edges, and the adapters are fitted. However, thinking about it, I've done this wrong. I have not made allowances for this T-piece, so a much easier way of doing it is to remove one of the adapters that I've just fitted, then put the T-piece in the lathe and machine most of it away from one side, and then thread it down the middle, 1/4 by 40. So it looks like this. It's like an L piece, not a T piece. In this clip you can clearly see that I removed one of the adapters from the correct side. This of course is the inlet side. It goes from the superheater to the inlet, which presses down on the slide valve and as I previously mentioned, it is the pressure of steam that holds the slide valve against the port face. This installation is actually quite tricky. There are a lot of moving parts in a very small area, so I have to turn the slide valve upside down, and now I'm undoing the screw so I can move the position of the control arm, so that this arm moves the central shaft an equal amount at both sides. Not forgetting, of course, to retighten the little screw before I finish the job. So here's the regulator in its final position, and as you can see it is upside down. Here's the position of the arm, and I'm moving the arm from left to right. I think it's time to put some air into it. So luckily, the little adapter that I made is perfect for putting some air into the boiler, and as you can see, it works very well indeed. And when I put a control rod in place for the radio control system, it's not going to foul the reversing lever. What is apparent is this reversing lever is dropping slightly too low, but all this will be put right when I install the radio control system, when I have full control over the travel of the servo. This is a piano wire control arm, specially bent with a little pair of pliers that I have, and these control arms, operated by servos in the stern of the boat, will operate the reversing system, the regulator and the emergency gas cut-off valve. Fitting a special shut-off valve is a good idea in case the boiler accidentally gets run dry, and it allows gas to be shut off and therefore the heat source shut off, so although the boat may stop in the middle of the lake, which is a bit of a pain, at least it will not be emulating a Viking funeral. Whilst I've been talking about gas valves, I've just sneakily removed the wet-headed pipe and the superheater pipe, and now what I'm going to do is clad these using some string. You need to put a little bit of cyanoacrylate adhesive on first to just tack the end piece of the string, and then the rest of it is just winding the string around the piece of copper pipe. That's all you need to do. You don't need to glue it in place every step of the way, but make sure that you wind it tightly. I don't know where I got this string from. It's some quite coarse, thick string, but it will serve its purpose to keep the heat in and also stop you inadvertently touching the pipe with bare hands. These pipes get extremely hot, particularly the one from the superheater. This is a pot of paint that's been in the workshop for a long time, so it's a little bit thick and gloopy, but it's fine for this. What I need to do is just cover all the string and get rid of the hairiness of the string, that is, not me. I still need a couple of million years yet to evolve fully. So now both of the pieces of pipe are covered in this thick string and a very good coat of paint, and they should look okay. It's not really important what they look like if they're inside a boat, but I may give them 2 coats, just to bind the string together and make sure it never unravels. So this is a second piece that's been painted, and once it's been painted I have to find a place to put it where it's not going to stick to anything. And what I would normally do is just clamp one of the nuts in the machine vise. And if that makes your eyes water, thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.